Okay, we'll continue in the tropics, but we're moving out of the kind of the rainforest tropics into what we call the seasonal forest and scrub type of forest in the tropics, where you get more lower and more erratic rainfall, and it follows the shifting ITCZ. So as the ITCZ moves up into the northern hemisphere and down to the southern hemisphere, the rain and the seasons will follow that, whereas in the previous ones we're closer to the equator, and so we pretty much get constant 12 hours of daylight and a lot more rain. So here you get monsoonal forest, open woodlands, and semi-arid shrublands, and the trees tend to make poor lumber. So notice, so the previous ones were right around here, and notice here we're up here in India and Malaysia, and down here a little further into southern Africa and so forth. So on either side of the tropical rainforest. Up here is desert, of course. So notice the trees are spaced wider apart. You get more grasses. And koala bears are part of this environment, eucalyptus trees. Then we get into the true grasslands, the tropical savannas. And again, they're still tropical because of the temperature, but they're treeless or scattered with trees and shrubs. You get precipitation, but only about 6 months of the year. And by far and away, the largest savannas are, of course, in Africa. So you can see them that just border the tropical rainforest in Africa on either side, and also down here in South America and over here in Australia. And again, you know, elephants live there, a huge number of species of African animals you'll see in the savannas because of the predominant grasses there provide good food. And of course, it's prone to fire as well. But again, notice all the animals here in the foreground, not a lot of trees, but plenty of grasses. Then we move further up in latitude, and we get to our mid-latitudes, the broadleaf and mixed forests. So you're going to get warm to hot summers and cool to cold winters. The soils tend to be unisols with some alpha soils, and you get broadleaf trees. And across the globe, it's pretty consistent in appearance. And again, another wide assortment of animals, but often they're migratory. So most of the east of the U.S., Europe, into Russia, and the east coast of Asia. And they look like that. So again, not the rainforest that we saw previously or the grasslands, but more broadleaf boreal or the broadleaf forests. Of course, there's a bat, that's part of the environment. We get our boreal and montane forests that are a little further north, so we start to see needle leaves, you know, pine trees, less densely forested, get cold winters, you still get 3-month summers, and they're mostly what we call spotosols that we discussed in the previous chapter. And you get high elevation, we get the same environment at high elevations in the lower latitudes, and you get a lot of logging. So notice we've gone up in latitude. Northern Canada, the Rockies, Northern Europe, Northern Russia, this part of the Andes down here, and the mountains of Africa, and the Atlas Mountains here in North Africa. So that's what that looks like. So we're starting to move into higher latitudes and often also higher elevations in lower latitudes, but we move from broadleaf trees to the needle leaf, the pine coniferous trees. And very good for logging. And we have our temperate rainforest where we have moderate air temperatures, both broadleaf and needle-leaf trees with thick undergrowths and what we call inceptisols in the mountain regions, spotosols elsewhere. And this includes our coastal redwoods. So mostly just here up in the west coast of Canada and Washington. You know, the Douglas fir and the redwoods that we've all heard about. And they have these northern spotted owls, which we call an indicator species, meaning that if you see them, then the system is healthy. On the go here and watch the spirit bear animation, or I mean video in the weekly module, it gives you a little more insight into this. The Mediterranean shrublands, where we are in Southern California, temperate, dry summers, alpha sols, mollisols, you get woody shrubs, grassy woodlands. So here on the west coast of the U.S., southern Spain, Italy, Greece, North Africa, southern Australia, southern South Africa, and this part of South America. That's your Mediterranean type of climates. Dry, hot summers and cool, moist winters. So again, chaparral that we're all familiar with. Again, very, all over the mountains that we see here. And all different types of mammals. I think there's a video on the trapdoor spider over on the weekly module. But again, very typical of the wide variety of animals that we'll see. Everything from striped skunks to bats to possums to deer, and all these different hummingbirds, hawks, all these different types of animals. And that's kind of what it looks like, and really typical of what we see here in Southern California. Okay, then we'll do the rest of it in part 3 when we start getting into the grasslands.